Hey there! Welcome to my Reflection Podcast. So I'm Natassia, a pre-service TESOL teacher, and today I want to share one of the lessons from my first practicum experience that really made me think. Okay, so the topic is The Meal, which is one of the poems in Year 5, and I'll be using Gibbs' reflective cycle to talk about what happened, how I felt, what went well, what didn't, and what I'm going to do differently next time. So let's jump right in. Okay, so to tell you a little bit of background, so this is a 60-minute English lesson with 33 mixed ability Year 5 pupil, and the focus was on language arts and speaking. Okay, the objective for the lesson is first, they have to identify and underline food items in the poem and then explain whether they like or dislike those items using simple language. And the second objective is for the pupil to use future tense, specifically the structure be going to describe how they would prepare and serve a dish. During set induction, we kick off with a group puzzle activity. Each group received puzzle pieces of different food items and they had to assemble the picture together. Okay, the pictures are basically vocabulary that they will be introduced to. That part worked really well. It grabbed their attention and got them talking and working together right away. Okay, and then I introduced some new vocabulary, foods like words like turnip, pickles, prune, ketchup. Basically the words that they will find in the poem. Okay, and honestly, they were curious, especially about turnip. Some had never even heard of it, and that opened up a lot of discussion. Okay, after that, the pupils read the poem in pairs, we discussed it, and they underline all the food items they could find. Okay, and then that's when they share their likes and dislikes about the items they found. Okay, so far, everything was going according to plan. But then, when we reach the production stage, that's where things get tricky. Okay, each group had to present a dish they created in the previous lesson to save time, basically. Okay, they had to describe how they were going to prepare and serve it. Okay, while each group did get to present, and most of them did pretty well. Okay, what caught me off guard was the behavior of the rest of the class. Okay, the pupils who weren't presenting started getting distracted. Some were talking, some were doodling, and some just completely checked out. Okay, that made the situation challenging, not because the content was hard, but because keeping the whole class engaged during presentation turned out to be harder than I expected. Okay, at the start of the lesson, I felt confident, excited. I had everything prepared, the puzzles, the visuals, the poem. And when I saw the people laughing and working together during the set induction, I felt so proud. It felt like I had created a positive learning environment. When they shared their interest in the vocabulary, especially the unfamiliar words, I felt energized. I thought, yes, this is working. Okay, but during the production stage, my emotions shifted. I started to feel a bit let down, not by the pupils necessarily, but by myself. I felt frustrated because I have not thought about how to manage the pupils when they weren't the one talking. Okay, so I wanted each group to feel heard and respected, but the lack of attention from the audience made it feel unfair. It was a humbling moment, realizing that a well-planned activity doesn't always mean that the whole class is on task. Okay, so looking back, actually a lot of things went right. Okay, the puzzle activity was a hit. It was a good set induction. It captured their interest. The vocabulary presentation was engaging. Pupils participated enthusiastically in the reading and speaking tasks. They understood the lesson objective, and most of them demonstrated that through their group work and presentation. Okay, but clearly, there was a gap in classroom management during peer presentation. Okay, the problem wasn't with the presenting group. They did their job. Okay, the issue was with how I structured the role of the listener. I expected them to just listen politely, but that expectation wasn't realistic for 11-year-old who weren't actively doing anything. Okay, without a task or focus, it was natural for their attention to shift. Okay, so while I achieved all the learning objective, I missed an opportunity to reinforce skills like respect, listening, and also collaboration. Okay, so here's what I plan to do next time. I'm going to design a peer evaluation worksheet. Just something simple and pupil-friendly. Maybe it will have 3 to 4 questions or criteria like what Was the dish clearly described? Did they use be going to correctly? Maybe that's hard. Okay, what was your favorite part? Pupil will fill this out as they listen to each group. So this will give them a reason to pay attention and help them become more mindful and respectful listeners. Okay, I'll maybe assign roles within groups. Maybe one people will be the presenter, another one will take note, and one will be the evaluator for other groups. Okay, so that way everyone have a responsibility even when they are not speaking. So I guess I'll be more intentional about setting expectation before the task. I'll clearly explain what respectful listening looks like and why it's important, not just for the grades, but just basically to build a positive classroom community. So I think that's my reflection on my lesson on the meal. So a lesson that started off strong, had a few hiccups, and taught me some valuable lesson about classroom management and also this engagement. So thank you for tuning in. If you're a fellow trainee or just someone who's reflecting on your own teaching journey, I hope this helped you see how meaningful reflection can be, not just to look back, but to plan forward. Okay, until next time, keep teaching, keep learning, and most of all, keep reflecting. Thank you.